If you're here, you're likely considering how a health and safety management system could benefit you. Maybe you own your own company, or you are an employee of a growing corporation. Either way, tools that manage health and safety can serve to be beneficial for any business. It's important to understand the core and purpose and benefits of a health and safety management system. By having a system in place, you can constantly minimize the health and safety risks, while also achieving simplifications with suppliers along the way. If the organization has a system for health and safety, it can be trusted that the organization addresses health and safety issues and that safety precautions are taken in the organizational processes, in the work planning and execution to protect the employee. Keep in mind that the implementation of a management system is a strategic decision by an organization that can help improve its overall performance and provide a good basis for sustainable development initiatives. The standard applies to all sectors and areas of business and society, as well as to all sizes of organizations, regardless of whether they are profit-oriented or not. But how is a health and safety management system structured? Let's look at the individual components with their requirements.
Understanding the organization and its context.
How do you know if a health and safety management system is necessary? First, the organization must determine external and internal issues that are relevant to the health and safety management system. Next, it will decide its best-suited purpose and its strategic direction, which will affect its ability to achieve the intended results that are set at the beginning of its implementation. Understanding the context can be facilitated by considering issues arising from all different departments and focus areas. Depending on the organization, it can range from legal, technological, competitive, market, cultural, social, and economic environments. However, the organization should understand the needs and expectations of interested parties in order to have the correct goals for a health and safety management system. Once the need is determined, the next step is to establish the processes needed to accurately develop the system. How is this determined? Once you know the goal and processes for the system, start how success is measured. Consider what expected inputs and outputs are for this processes and what key figures will be used to measure them. Another part of the processes is determining how execution will occur. This includes the processes, the resources, responsibilities, and authorities, which must be determined early on. All of the processes in a company must be analyzed on the basis of the key figures and constantly monitored and improved over time. Goals, inputs, and output may shift with time, but that is what makes a health and safety management so essential and beneficial to any company.
Leadership and commitment.
The organization's management will demonstrate leadership and commitment with respect to the health and safety management system and to customers. The organization must carefully determine and address health and safety risks and opportunities that can affect employees. The organization must also develop a health and safety policy to accompany the system. A policy like this will describe the corporate values, guidelines, and educate the employees on the system. This step will ensure that everyone is in agreement and understanding of the system and the expectations surrounding it. The management must take on the role of ensuring that the responsibilities and authorities for relevant health and safety roles are assigned, communicated, and understood within the organization. By following these steps, it eliminates the potential of misunderstandings across roles. The last thing you want is to have anyone in an emergency is confused about what their responsibilities are.
Planning.
Each day that an organization is conducting their daily business with customers and suppliers, health and safety risks will inevitably arise for employees. Every organization must have an actionable plan in place to address health and safety risks for their employees and legal obligations. This plan for risk minimization must be incorporated into the operational work. They should regularly evaluate the effectiveness of these actions based on previous outcomes. When action is taken, they shall be proportionate to the potential impact to the employees. The response to risks must be appropriate and scalable to the situation. There are a few options to address risks, including avoiding risks altogether, taking risks in order to propose an opportunity, eliminating the risk source entirely, sharing the risk with management, or retaining the risk by informed decision, health and safety objectives and planning to achieve them. Before anything goes into action, the organization shall establish health and safety objectives at relevant functions, levels, and processes. Once there is an objective at play, consider if it meets these three criteria. Is it measurable? Can it be monitored? And how can it be communicated? When an organization is planning how to achieve its health and safety objectives, They must have clear answers to the following questions. What will be done? What resources will be required? Who will be responsible? When it will be completed? And how the results will be evaluated. These questions will eliminate the possibility for mishandling of tasks or evaluation and ensure that there is a plan in place for the process. Planning of changes. When the organization determines the need for changes to the health and safety management system, the changes shall be carried out in a planned manner. Action will not be taken without a clear objective, communication, and plan in place. By doing so, the organization must consider the availability of resources and the reallocation of responsibilities and authorities when making changes to the health and safety management system.
Support.
Having the correct amount and type of support throughout the operation is also critical within the health and safety management system. The organization shall determine and provide the resources needed for the establishment, implementation, maintenance, and continual improvement of the health and safety management system. These resources will vary by organization and will oftentimes include people, infrastructure, and environment for the operation of processes. Organizational knowledge. The organization must determine the knowledge required to ensure safety and health for the entire operation of its processes and for the conformity of products and services. There is no one approach that works the same in all departments and industries, so an individual approach is required. Competence. In order to ensure the correct people are working with the system, organizations shall determine the necessary competence of persons doing work under its control that affects the performance and effectiveness of the health and safety management system. Ensure that these persons are competent based on appropriate education, training, or experience. Assessing competency will help prevent errors or difficulties from arising while integrating the system. Communication. Just like anything else, communication is key. The organization shall determine the internal and external communication, including what is needed to be communicated, when to communicate, with whom to communicate, how to communicate.
Operation.
The organization shall plan, implement, and control the processes needed to meet the health and safety requirements and the observance of legal obligations. Eliminating hazards and minimize risks. Hazards to employees or interested parties must be appropriately minimized. Measures can be: eliminate the risk. Minimize the risk by using less hazardous work processes, operations, materials, or equipment. Application of administrative measures including training of employees. Use of suitable protective equipment. The output of this planning shall be suitable for the organization's operations and health and safety goals. External processes and subcontractors. If a project is carried out with a subcontractor, the organization must ensure the following points. The project risks must be identified in advance and known to the employees concerned. The existing risks must be assessed and controlled. The organization must be aware of the following: the contractor's activities and operations that impact its own organization, the activities and operations of the organization that affect the contractor's employees, the contractor's activities and operations that impact other interested parties in the workplace. External processes. The organization must ensure that outsourced functions and processes are controlled. The organization must ensure that its outsourcing arrangements are consistent with legal obligations and other requirements and the intended outcomes of the health and safety management system. Emergency planning and response. The organization must establish, implement, and maintain processes necessary to prepare for and respond to potential emergency situations. The organization must take into account establishing a planned response to emergency situations, including first aid care, providing the training for the planned response, a recurring review and practice of the response capability. The emergency response exercise must be evaluated and, if necessary, adjusted, improved. The organization is also responsible for controlling planned changes and reviewing the consequences of unintended changes. They must take action to mitigate any adverse effects as necessary.
Monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation.
Once the health and safety management system is in place, the results it yields must be assessed. The organization must evaluate the performance and the effectiveness of the health and safety management system. By doing this, the organization must determine what needs to be monitored and measured, the methods for monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation needed to ensure valid results. When the monitoring and measuring shall be performed, when the results from monitoring and measurement shall be analyzed and evaluated, The organization shall analyze and evaluate appropriate data information collected from monitoring and measurement phase. The results of the analysis of the health and safety management system be used to evaluate conformity of legal obligations, the degree of customer satisfaction, the performance and effectiveness of the system, the effectiveness of actions taken to address risk and opportunities. Internal audit. What about audits? By carrying out internal audits, the requirements and their implementation are verifiably checked. The organization shall plan, establish, implement, and maintain an audit program. The program will need to include assessing the frequency, methods, responsibilities, planning requirements, and reporting. Each of these topics will take into consideration the importance of the processes concerned, changes affecting the organization, and the results of previous audits. Management review. Another way to review the outcomes of the system implementation is to bring in upper management. The role of the top management team will be to review the organization's health and safety management systems at planned intervals to ensure its continuing suitability, adequacy, effectiveness, and alignment with the strategic direction of the organization. They will ensure that the outcomes are following the original guidelines and goals set in place at the beginning. Management shall put together a review. This review should address the outputs of the management decisions and actions related to opportunities for future improvement and any necessary changes to the health and safety management system that would yield results that are closer to the original goal.
Improvement.
One of the best parts about having a health and safety management system in place is that it allows for improvement to occur. The organization shall determine and select opportunities for improvement. Once these opportunities are assessed, improvement can be implemented by any necessary actions to meet customer requirements and enhance customer satisfaction. Nonconformity and corrective action. While it is important to have a strategic plan in place for goals, it is equally as important to have a plan to address nonconformity. When a nonconformity occurs, it must be responded to react and take action to control and correct it. It is necessary to eliminate the causes of nonconformities so that they do not reoccur or occur in a different place or cause repeat issues to occur. Continual improvement. Over time, like anything else, the system can undergo improvement. The organization shall continually improve the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the health and safety management system. The organization should always consider the results of analysis and evaluation and the outputs from management review. This process will help determine if there are needs or opportunities that shall be addressed as part of continual improvement. Goals may change and customer response may vary, so return to the first step of the process and set new goals and outcomes to be achieved with the health and safety management system. There you have it. This has been an overview of health and safety management systems and their operations, as well as how they can serve a purpose within any organization. Thanks for watching our video. If you need information or help to develop or implement a health and safety management system, please contact us.